Paradise. Cloud 12. It's the final cloud. We're on the final cloud now. So, right. Back in the Paradisian court. Back in the Paradisian court, the jury returned and took their seats. Only Socrates. Yeah, only Socrates, as foreman of the bench, was left standing. Do you find the defendants guilty or not guilty of violation of the laws of paradise? Asked the judge. Guilty, Socrates announced solemnly. Wouldn't I tell you? Mark Time commented. But that means we've got to go to Spike's words trailed off as the judge nodded his head in confirmation. Do you mean to say that you are going to punish Chico and Malika and all the other angels and cherubs too? Duke protested. Again, the judge nodded his head in confirmation. He took a black cap from his desk and put it on his head. Suddenly, as if from nowhere, a little demon appeared in a puff of red smoke and stood next to the group. He was grinning at them in a spine-tingling fashion. Like that. You can't do this to us, Del protested, just because we dared to be different. Ignoring Del's outburst, the judge began his closing speech. You have been found guilty, the judge told them. It's not fair, said Cy. Of violation of the laws, I demand an appeal, Duke protested, of paradise. Time waits for no man, Mark Time told them. I hereby sentence you to... Wait for it. It's time to stop this, Spike told Mark. To an eternity. What do you British do in the summertime, asked Mike Time. In the land. Put the clocks back, Duke told him. But of fire and... Then that's what we'll do, Mark Time told them, with a twinkle in his eye. There was a blinding flash, like that. Suddenly, everything seemed to go in reverse.
And fire off, but Duke said, back clock, the put. Land, the in, Mark asked summertime, the Indo British, the do what? The reversal got faster and faster. Eternity and two, this stop to time. It said all you sentence I, and demand no fear, waste time, and faster. It's funny, isn't it? Until here, us stand worse for people, got to you bet I.
Brimstone and fire of land.
The two said to be enough, and anything done.
And then...
We are the saints, in paradise, sitting on...
Spike, darling, Patsy. He's funny, isn't he, Boo? Spike, you're right. Spike, darling, Patsy was talking to her musician fiancé. Come on, love, it's me, you're Patsy. Patsy? Asked the confused... Patsy asked the confused Spike. What happened to the judge? The judge? Patsy laughed. What judge? You haven't done anything wrong, have you? Done anything wrong? Spike was still hazy. Where am I? You're in hospital, love, Patsy explained with a smile. You've been unconscious for nearly 4 days. 4 days? Spike repeated. Do you mean we're not going to the land of fire and brimstone? Patsy looked up at the nurse, who had just walked over. The nurse smiled condescendingly, as nurses often do. Are you telling me that we're not dead? Spike asked in disbelief. You nearly were, Patsy admitted. All of you. Luckily for us all, the doctors and nurses have managed to give you a new lease of life. Where are the others? Spike asked suddenly. Are they all okay now? Look for yourself, Patsy told him as she gestured around the ward. It was full of saints. The ward was full of saints. Desi's mum was fussing over him. Si was busy proposing to his girlfriend Cheryl. Del and George's wives were sitting by their husbands' beds, carrying little bundles, little babies. Duke was in the next bed to Spike. Did you have a bad dream too? Spike asked. Dream? Asked Spike. Yes, Duke explained. The doctor reckons that we all had nightmares while we were unconscious. But the bomb, Spike insisted, that really happened, didn't it? Oh yeah, Del broke in from the bed on the other side of Spike's. This happened all right, and you'll be pleased to know that they caught the gangsters. They did? Asked Spike. Yeah, Del continued. It was a lucky break for the police, apparently. They were following a swarm of bees when they ran into Lofty Leggett and his gang, chased by a swarm of wasps that they were trying to get out of Bedside Manor with Elfie appetite to loot. Hey, said Patsy excitedly. Babs and Miranda are here with their new babies. Babs and Miranda? Asked Spike. Who? Oh, really, Spike, laughed Patsy. The explosion must have affected your memory. Duke and Dell's wives, of course. Oh, yeah, Spike suddenly remembered. Babies, did you say? Yes, Patsy explained. They both had their babies on the same day in the maternity unit of the hospital. The worry and the excitement must have started the babies off early. Babs and Miranda walked over to Spike's bed. Each was holding a tiny bundle in their arms. Hey. Where was I? You're sure the judge isn't here? Asked Spike apprehensively. Judge for yourself, Duke told them. Unless he's hiding under the bed, of course. He could be at that, Spike replied. He was only a little guy. All of these things are sent to try us, Duke grinned. Now let's all try to forget about this and think of the future. Yes, Patsy agreed. Just look at those 2 little babies, Spike. Aren't they sweet? Yeah, I suppose they are, Spike had to agree. What are we going to call them? Ours is a little boy, Babs told him. George said he wants to call him Chico. Chico? Spike echoed in surprise. Yes, Miranda confirmed. Ours is a little girl. Del insists on calling her Malika. Unusual name, don't you think? Malika? Spike replied. Chico and Malika? He looked over at George and then at Del. They both winked at him knowingly. You sound like a tape recorder, Patsy laughed. I can see she's got you taped, Spike said. Sounds like it, added Si. Don't take the mic, Spike told him. Just then a doctor came into the ward. Feeling better, Spike? Asked the doctor. Yes, thanks, he replied. Mind you, I can't remember feeling anything else. Here on Earth, that is. Spike looked up at the doctor. Haven't I seen you somewhere before? He asked. I don't know, replied the doctor. Have you? What's your name? Asked Spike. Time, the doctor told him. Oh no, Patsy said suddenly. Not time already, surely. Sorry, the doctor replied. You can stay here as long as you like. No, that's my name. Mark Time. Spike fainted. Boom, like that. Sorry, I'll give you a headache in a minute. Spike, Patsy shouted at him. Spike, speak to me. She then turned to the doctor. Dr. Time, she pleaded. He's got to get better soon. We're getting married in 3 weeks' time. Don't worry, the doctor assured Patsy. The excitement has been a bit too much for him. He'll be all right. All it needs is time.
To be precise, playing our funky music, the angels up above.
The epilogue. The Saints jazz rock group went on to be one of the most Hello. The Saints jazz rock group went on to be one of the most popular bands on earth of all time as they introduced new elements to their music. Harps and church organs were added, and they introduced the use of backwards tapes in honour of Mark Time to their first album, The Saints in Paradise, after their recovery. The album included their billion-selling single, If This Is Heaven, Forget It. Spike and Si both got married, but Duke decided to stay single. Well, he would, wouldn't he? Thanks to the efforts of the campaign against pesticides and poisons, and, unbeknown to humans, the animals and insects themselves, I might add, the government outlawed all pesticides and poisons. Yeah! The earth-saving event was duly recognised by the Global Operations Director up in Paradise. Mark Time started a campaign to modernise the heavens. Eventually, G.O.D. gave in and jazz rock and all sorts of other popular music was allowed to be played in heaven. All souls, angels and cherubs were allowed to recycle and design their own clothes. The lawyer resigned in protest. The Angelic Choir had their first #1 hit in Paradise. It was called The Saints Be Preserved. Lofty Leggett gang were duly charged and tried in an earthbound court, and several counts of stealing property and terrorising citizens. The jury found them guilty on all counts, and they were locked up in jail for 20 years. Now, there's justice for you.
To my steed to Charleston, and a cockroach sang a song as the band played jazz rock music all night long. Everyone was happy, nothing could go wrong, till a bunch of nasty gangsters threw a bomb. We are the saints, in paradise, sitting on a cloud to be precise, playing our funky music, the angels are...
Well, that's the Saints in Paradise. Finished, the final cloud. And the next one is The Secret of Bedside Manor, which takes place in the same place, but instead of clouds, this is in spells.
The Secret of Bedside Manor. Secret of Bedside Manor was written on an ancient banner in days of old.